So welcome back to Fair Crime Friday. For this case, we are going back to California. This case is another serial killing case, except in this case we have a multiple killers, four to be specific. All of them have luckily been convicted and are all currently still in prison. Even though these murders did all happen in the 90s. Most people, if you see by the title of this case, the mall apparently is still up and active to this day, and most people usually know of the mall due to Back to the Future, including myself. However, if you are aware of the murders that did happen back in the 90s, definitely let me know. If you know any of the victims, if you relate to any of the victims, if you knew any of our killers involved, because like I said, there are four, definitely let me know. And so with that being said, I'm Courtney Rambling. Let's go get started. So y'all already know, of course, with this being a female murder channel, we're going to start with Robin. Robin Monique, don't know how to pronounce her last name. I believe that she was born in 1968. She would have a half-brother, so same mother, different father, named John Irving Lewis. Doesn't give a date of birth on him either. Spoiler, there's not really a date of birth on any of our killers, or even really any of the victims, which that's tragic in itself. And so, remember, like I said, they have the same mother, different father. So John's father would apparently get murdered, but that's supposed to how old John was when he got murdered. And then Robin's father was apparently went to jail for robbery. So then, of course, the mother, she would get married. So now, of course, the kids have a stepfather because they're both living with their mother. And apparently the stepfather is very violent, and this caused them to have an unusual bond. And so then apparently Robin would run away at 12. And then apparently she unfortunately also got pregnant with the stepfather at the age of 12, which I believe that's why she ran away, but didn't actually say that. And then apparently it said stepfather actually gave their mother a gun and told them basically to kill both of them. So I guess it's either your own kids or me. So, of course, the mother, she, of course, refused, but still didn't leave the relationship. Robin would apparently run away and go into foster care. She didn't go live with the Crips until the age of 15, and she would steal and prostitute for a living. So then, of course, at 15, she's over here doing home robberies. Apparently, she's sent for treatment because I guess they saw that she was still young, so she still had some potential before we just sent her to jail permanently. And then, unfortunately, the mother dies from an overdose in 1983. She gets released from jail in 1984, and then apparently it said that she had turned her life somewhat around and started working for mortgage companies. So from the age of 10 all the way up to 21, John, Robin's brother, was essentially in and out of jail. He gets released from juvenile jail when he turns 21. He goes to live with Robin, and Robin is dating a man by the name of Vincent Hubbard. Of course, no date of birth on Vincent either. So then, of course, John would actually have a girlfriend himself by the name of Eileen Marie Huber. No date of birth on her. So then apparently Eileen's parents had at one point split, and so she was living with her father. She would drop out of high school, and apparently her brother was kicked out at 14 for doing drugs. However, apparently she was never kicked out, even though apparently she was doing them also only because she was a girl. So I guess all four were trying to get their life together at one point. However, unfortunately, their apartment would apparently shortly be robbed after. So then Robin would apparently snap. And then apparently the police would interact with them like often. So I guess again, they're constantly getting in trouble. So of course the police pretty much know who these people are. And then John would apparently go rob people because nobody else was working. And we got to pay the bills and feed ourselves somehow. So on July 5th, 1991, the group, they find Jose Avina, who's 22, inside his red truck that apparently he was like very proud of according to his brother. So then they find him. John apparently takes a gun, goes to the driver's side of the door, takes Jose out. Shoots Jose, takes him out, throws him out the truck, obviously leaves with the truck. His body is then found. Police are obviously called. And then his truck is found 15 miles away with the speaker and stereo taken out. So then Eileen, apparently, her father apparently owned a bunch of guns, and she was trying to wait till her father was out of town so that way they can steal his guns to use it on future crimes, but this apparently never happens. So then fast forward to murder number 2, we go to August 4th of still 1991. And there's a man by the name of Augustine and his wife. They apparently are restaurant owners. They're closing down the restaurant. And then, of course, unfortunately, Augustine is then shot. And then apparently his wife, Linda, is a witness just a few feet away. So, okay, so now that we have 2 dead victims, we go to August 9th, still 1991. They come across a man by the name of Eugene. He apparently is sleeping in his car. So they get him, I guess, like, to drive to Morris Dam. And that's a place apparently where bodies are buried often in the area. So I guess he pretty much knew that, like, once they take him there, I'm pretty much a dead man. So then they get him to turn around to where he's facing, getting ready to pretty much like be shot. Like I guess he's pretty much accepted his fate by this point. And when you know it said that John was supposed to be shooting with a gun like jams. So he takes this opportunity to pretty much jump off the cliff to pretty much take his chance like there. So then luckily Eugene actually survives, but they think that he's dead. So then they then like pretty much leave. And then Eugene is able to flag somebody down so that way he can get a payphone, because remember cell phones weren't really a thing yet. So that way he can get help. So then on August 14th, there was an engaged couple. The woman apparently is not named publicly, but the man's name is Juan Rios. And so apparently, they see that she has a nice little wedding ring that probably cost some good couple of money. So of course they get the wedding ring and $200 from the ATM. That particular ATM that they were at apparently was not working, so they go to another ATM that supports this card, and then where they are able to get the money. They then take them to an area and then drop them off. And apparently, I guess it's believed that they let them live because police just happen to be driving by. So then, of course, they flee the scene. And so then, of course, the couple, they eventually leave after realizing that the group was gone, and their car is found in a supermarket parking lot. So then on August 18th, Willie Mays, who was 40 years old, he actually was declared missing. Tragic thing, his daughter apparently actually got married earlier that day. Willie, of course, as you imagine, he's at an ATM also, and then the group proceeds to confront him. They are able to only get $900 out of Willie, and so they then take him to a middle school, where then he is then shot. Of course, he dies from this said gunshot, and then they proceed to dump his body into the dumpster behind the school. And they also proceed to dump Augustine's body in the same dumpster, which of course police later find, showing that these two murders are connected. John and Eileen, they apparently would try to use Willie's credit card to buy like $700 worth of clothes, and it got declined only because it was canceled. Because remember, by this point, Willie had actually, apparently, sources are saying that like Willie had already been either found dead, so his family canceled the cards, or that because they weren't sure whether he was dead or alive or not, they canceled the cards. So either way, the card was canceled, they declined. However, the employee was able to see the license plate. She gave police the license plate because it seemed suspicious, and it came back to Eileen. So, of course, John comes up with the idea to rob a jewelry store because obviously jewelry is very expensive, and if we rob somewhere that's very expensive and we're successful, we won't have to go as much robberies as often because all the robberies we're going to, killing all these people, we're not getting a lot of money for it. So on August 24th, Elizabeth Nesbitt and her husband Neil apparently are at the Puente Hills Mall, which is why this video is called the Puente Hill Mall Murders, because that has happened like pretty much all involved in the mall and the surrounding area. And so anyway, so they're at the mall apparently. Neil is apparently actually in the mall himself, whereas Elizabeth is sitting in the car waiting. John pretty much comes up, you know the deal, pretty much confronts her, takes her purse, he kills her. They dump her car inside the highway with her still in it. Police then find it. And the sad part is apparently she and Neil are supposed to go to Disneyland with family like that day or in the days coming up. So on August 27th, you got Shirley Diogen, who apparently was 60. She apparently was actually on her lunch break buying a gift for a coworker for their birthday. And so she was born October 27th, 1950. So then they carjack her, put her in the back seat. They proceed to take her to her ATM where they then get her pin. Well, of course, when they're successful, she then is then shot, of course, obviously dying, and then they leave her body on the side of the highway, and unfortunately, it said that her child actually found her body. So on August 29th, detectives proceed to go through Elizabeth's car. Remember Elizabeth IV, the victim that died. They go to her car, and they find a receipt for an ATM, and this ATM just so happens to have a camera, unlike apparently most of the others in the city at the time. Because remember, this is the 90s. Cameras at ATMs were as common as it is today. So then apparently the camera at that particular ATM caught John and Eileen. Sorry, it catches John and Robin on the ATM cameras. Anyway, so they go to the house the next day, do a stakeout. And then Eileen apparently leaves. They pull her over. She is seen wearing Elizabeth's wedding ring, saying that John gave it to her because remember, John and Eileen are dating. So he was trying to say that, my man gave this to me. And of course, they go back to the house and they proceed to arrest the other three. So Vincent and Robin, they pretty much refuse to talk, whereas John and Eileen, they're pretty much open as to, yeah, we did it. And they go into detail why they did it. And John pretty much says that he did it to get back to society for messing him up for what he went through as a child. And of course, pretty much skip through sentencing. Eileen, Vincent, and Robin all get life, and John gets death. So that's pretty much the Puente Hill Mall murders. Like I said, if you heard it before, definitely let me know. If you haven't, I definitely understand because I hadn't either. At least until about back in March at the time that I did all this research. And so with that being said, if you guys have any other similar cases with group killings that I should definitely know about, let me know. And so that being said, I heard females 3 times a week. Subscribe for more fellow females. I'll see you guys next one. Bye.